Hello, everybody, and welcome to another AAS Live. My name is Shailyn Griffin, and I am the Director of Partnerships and Studio Development at Armstrong Acting Studios. We've got a really exciting live today. I'm going to be joined by AAS Artistic Director Susanna Fournier, and we're going to be having a conversation about 2025 and getting ready for another really exciting year, as well as some really exciting things that we have coming up in the pipeline for 2025. As well, just a little welcome to AAS, what the studio has to offer, and we're really excited to be ending off another great year at 2024 at the studio. I mean, we had so many actor bookings, we had so many instructor bookings. It was a really successful year, and we're really honored and grateful to have the faculty and students that we have. And we're just excited to welcome everybody back in 2025 and have another really great year. And so today's live is going to be a Q&A style. So I'm going to be asking Susanna some questions, and then if any questions pop up in your head throughout the live as me and Susanna are chatting, just pop them into the chat, and then I will look at the chat at the end, and if there's any questions there, we will address all of those. So I'm gonna just invite Susanna here now so we can hop on into the conversation. All right. Way, and then we will get going here. Hi, Susanna.
Hi, Shailyn. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I've like actually woke up today with a kind of like happy Monday feel.
I know, right? Yes. And I'm excited to chat today too. It's going to be a really exciting conversation.
Yeah.
And I was saying we're just finishing out a really great 2024, and we're excited to kick it back off in 2025. And yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things happening. So this is going to be a cool live today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting.
Yeah. So I am just gonna let you introduce yourself. I just saved that for you to do there. So I'll open up the floor to you to do that.
Yeah, perfect. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this live today. I'm Susanna Fournier. I'm the Artistic Director at Armstrong Acting Studios. I've myself been a professional actor in film, television, and theater since 2008. So I have a lot of years in this industry, and I've been with Armstrong since 2016, where I've taught and instructed at every level that the studio has. I've been a resident coach there for the last 6 years, and I'm very happy now to be, as the artistic director, helming the most advanced masterclass levels, as well as creating the structures of the training goals and working with our amazing faculty and staff to just keep investing in this amazing community of actors that we work with, and getting to spend all this time just like dedicated to this craft of acting that I love. Whether I'm the one doing it or I'm the one coaching an actor, it's so meaningful to me that I get to spend my time every day just like watching actors succeed and challenging them. So yeah, that's kind of what that's sort of my passion, and what dictates what we're trying to do at the studio. And part of that work is also getting to work with brand new actors, which I know we want to talk about today. So maybe that's a good sort of segue into this welcome to AAS and the workshop that we have coming up, Shailyn.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, for new actors, we have a really exciting and cool workshop opportunity coming up in January. It's called Welcome to AAS, and the title kind of speaks for itself. It's a welcome to the studio for new actors, and for people to kind of dip their feet in and see what we have to offer before kind of committing to a course. So I'll let you speak on that. So what exactly is the Welcome to AAS workshop, and then what can actors expect from the workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the brass tacks, it's a 3 hour in studio workshop. For the adult, for the 19 plus category of actors, it's led by myself. We have run them in the past, and we will in the future for youth actors as well. And those are typically run by studio owner Sarah Nakato. And so it's 3 hours. There's two categories. There is the auditioning actor, which you can register to be a participant who's actually going to audition, as well as an auditing actor. So if you're like, ooh, I don't really know, I'm not sure about acting, I want to check it out, but I don't necessarily want to go up, then you can come and watch the workshop and still receive a ton of instruction and information and get a sense of what the training is like, but without actually having to get up on your feet. So for the folks who are getting up on their feet, we style this workshop very similar to one of our kind of first training sessions that you can expect in most of the levels of training that we offer at the studio, especially at the beginner level. I do want to note that if you've already acted before, you can still take this workshop. It's not just for people who have never acted before, but maybe you've never trained at Armstrong and you're not sure if AAS is the right thing for you. It might not be what you're looking for. So it's also an opportunity to come and introduce your own work and where you're at in your process to myself, and I can kind of speak to where the best level of training might be for you at the studio, or hear more about what you're looking for and point you in the direction of, some of the like supplementary trainings that we have, or development coaching, or whatever. So I just want to be clear, it's not just for people who've never acted before. So you could have 10 years of acting experience but never trained at the studio, or you could have never acted before and really want to try it, or maybe you acted a long time ago as a kid, you were in like school plays and stuff, and you're wanting to try film acting. So really it's a very open workshop that gives everyone, no matter where you're at, a sense of what you could expect if you wanted to train at the studio. So let's say you want to audition, you want the full experience. What happens is you register for the workshop a couple days, 3 or 4 days before the workshop, you'll be sent a scene, typical like you would if you were training with us more full time. And I'll ask you to prepare that, to choose a character from the scene, one that, really excites you or really challenges you. Prepare that, come ready to perform it. And then on the day, at a certain point, your name will get called. We'll chat through how it's going to go. You'll go up, you'll perform your audition. And for those who've never been in our studio, we have professional lighting set up, professional camera, we have monitors. So people will be watching your audition in the room, very similar to if you were in a high-level casting, as well as they'll be able to watch you on the monitors. And I think that's so important, and not all the studios in Toronto feature this element. It's so important when you're training on screen, you have that direct feedback of what your performance looks like, not just in the room, but in the frame on a television screen. So that is a very big point of distinction. I know a lot of folks have trained at studios where they don't have the monitors available, and it really does make such a difference. And I think it's really important when you're looking for an on-camera training facility that they have that, because that's how acting watches your audition. That is the medium we're working in, right? So you get up, you perform your audition with whatever nerves, right? Like for me, I get that it's nerve-wracking to do something for the first time in front of strangers. So like the workshop is very fun, right? I'm very like, yes, we're all doing something kind of scary, and maybe it's the first time, and especially if you've never acted before, like I think that's incredible. That's an incredible thing to do, to get up in front of a bunch of people and try something for the first time in front of a group of people you don't know. Like that's amazing, right? So for me, my attitude is like, let's have fun. Let's try this thing. Let's admit that like acting can feel like a crazy thing to do sometimes. So you'll show your scene and we'll check in. I'll chat with you. How did that go? What did you feel? And then I'll give you some redirects. I'll give you some points to consider, and we'll go back into work a section of the scene again. Maybe we'll get through the whole thing. Maybe we'll do an exercise. It's very up to, what the performer is bringing and what I'm seeing in their work. So I don't pre-plan what I'm going to do. I just know that everyone who's auditioning will get to see as a group this scene a lot of times and at it from different angles, and you'll experience, what it also is to watch your peers go up and how you can continue to learn so much from watching other actors work, which is a huge tenet of what we do at this studio. Is it's not just about learning by doing when it's you up there, it's also by seeing how an actor interprets something. Are they able to play the note? What do you see not working? So you really get a sense of, in a 3-hour class, you are going to get full 3 hours of instruction. Some of it's going to be more direct and some of it's going to be more passive. But you also get that sense of ensemble, which is so important at the studio. So that's what you can expect if you take the workshop. You can also expect that you're going to laugh. We always laugh a lot. It's exciting. By the end of the workshop, people feel like the atmosphere off the top is always very like, why did I take
nervous?
Everyone's nervous.
Yeah.
First day of school vibes.
Yeah.
And then by the end, we're all like laughing and like, sharing stories, and people make friends, and then people sign up and keep training. So it's really fun.
Awesome. Yeah. So just to recap, we do say this is for new actors, but definitely not just for people who are new to acting. It's new to the studio. So you're coming in to get to experience the studio, what we have to offer, the caliber of training that we have, and then also get to work with yourself, Susanna, which is a wonderful opportunity. So definitely jump on that. Susanna's absolutely great and fantastic, and you'll learn a lot in just the 3 hours with her. So it's a really exciting opportunity for both working actors that just have not been to the studio before, as well as people who just kind of want to see if this is something that they want to do before jumping into a full course.
Absolutely. We have some great actors who had stopped acting for 10 or 5 years, or during the pandemic, they relocated, and now they're back in the city, and they just were like, I'm trying to get back into it. So very gifted actors, tons of experience, who came to take the workshop and are now training with us at different training levels. So, or if you've been to theater school, don't think that you have to be a total newbie.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you talked a little bit about the medium. So of course we are a film and television training facility. Now, for those who have a theater background, how would you say an actor can go about transitioning from theater to the film and TV world? Because they are two very different worlds.
They are.
So how would you say to go about transitioning and kind of building that new skill set?
Well, first I can say from personal experience, I've done it. I was a theater trained actor. I trained at the National Theatre School of Canada, and I'd only worked in theater until my graduation. And I still have a very extensive life in the theater as a director and a playwright and a producer. So I occupy both worlds. And a lot of our theater trained actors can at first be a bit frustrated, because sometimes it feels like I don't trust my instincts, or I don't trust my impulses anymore, because I thought I understood acting and now I don't know why it's like seeming strange or too big or too theatrical, or it seems like I'm yelling. Now that I'm on film, they're not used to being mic'd, right? They're used to projecting. Maybe they come from musical theater. They're used to singing. So I definitely think giving yourself time in a studio context is important, so that you are able to relearn. It's like you already understand acting. We're not worried about that. It's just adjusting your technique so that rather than projecting your performance outwards, using a lot of externalization through the body, you're starting to trust that the camera is going to come to you, and those impulses and those thoughts and all of that is going to be read just in your eyes and in much more, subtler articulations, which doesn't mean you can never move, right? I have so many actors who are like, I don't know, people just told me not to move. And I'm like, well, now you're just stiff and scared. Like,
now you just look weird.
People move. You're allowed to on camera. It's just about understanding what's the size of the shot. What does the scene call for? There's tons of scenes. Like I always reference Joaquin Phoenix. Like that's an actor who can be so explosive, or Al Pacino, or, you know, and then we also have like Meryl Streep, who you're like, I think she moved her eyebrow and now I'm crying, you know? Like, so that's where, you know, taking an intro level acting class at the studio is not really right for someone who is theater trained, because they get acting, right? They know how to do text analysis, they have their toolkit. So for our theater trained actors, we invite you to look, you know, kind of look at our core two, because that we've already gone through the basics of how do you build a performance, which is important if you've never acted before. And we start to really focus on, okay, you know how to build a performance, you're working on translating it into the cinematic medium. That we can do in a CA2 level class, while still making sure you find the material challenging. You know, you're not gonna have to go back to the basics and be like, yeah, I'm just not challenged by this work. So you definitely need to be working with the screen medium. And I always recommend, if you've come out of theater school, you want to get into film and TV, you know, send me a tape of your work, send me a resume, send the studio, I'll end up seeing it. And more often than not, if you've done a theater school training program, then we're just going to put you right into a CA2 level class. Right. So you can do that finessing of your technique while still working on material that's going to be challenging and satisfying for you.
Right. So Susanna, you're talking about core acting 2, and then also throughout this live, we've talked about our intro level classes. Can you speak about what are the different courses that we have at Armstrong for both youth and adult, and the different levels, and kind of just give a little bit of clarity into that?
Yeah, I know. We're all going to wake up on New Year's Day, decide we want to get out, and then we're going to be like, well, where do I belong? So, you know, I'll start with our youth programming. For our youth, we have an IOC, which we call Introduction to On Camera. And we have that in the 19 plus category as well. So Introduction to On Camera is for someone who has no experience in acting whatsoever. Total beginner. You know, again, it was New Year's Day, your resolution was to try something new. You've never acted before in your life, but this year is about taking risks. You can just sign up for that class. No experience required. We're going to start at the absolute basics. How to break down a script. What the heck to do with your hands when you're standing. What are the lights? Like, what are the, you know, like absolute beginners. So that's Introduction to On Camera. It's an 18-hour training session. And that's so that if you sign up and you hate it, you haven't committed a ton of time, right? It's 6 sessions. It's our most affordable, you know, package. And that's really to make sure you like it. Yeah. So that's for youth as well as for adults. Also in the youth, then we go to a core foundation, a core intermediate, and a core advanced. So you might be like, so many words.
What does it mean?
It's like beginner, intermediate, advanced as well, right? So our foundation level training is, you did IOC, you really liked it, you thought acting is fun, I'd like to learn more. And that's kind of just a continuation of those basics that you were learning in the IOC. Then we get to intermediate, which is like, okay, you've mastered the basics, you know, eye lines, tactics, breaking down a script, you feel really confident doing those things. Great, we're going to keep doing them, but we're going to apply them to more challenging material. Longer scenes, more emotional range needed, maybe higher stakes, maybe some different genres, right? And you could be at that level for a long time, like 100 hours, like 2 years, right? To always get that mastery down. And then when we kind of feel like you're ready for more challenge, like this is all easy, then move to like core advanced. And that is a lot more material. That is meeting the expectations of a working professional actor. So your work is up to industry standard. Maybe you are auditioning, you are repped, and you understand the business. And so that is really for our top tier youth actors who typically are repped and who are ready to meet the demands of the professional competitive industry. And then for our youth, we go by age division as well, right? So we have 10 to 12 age groups, classes for 10 to 12s, 13 to 15, and 16 to 18 as well. So that you might start in IOC in 13 to 15, and then you're 15 and a half, and then you jump to the 16, 18 category to also make sure that you're material that makes sense for your age group with your peers. For adults, we have a similar trajectory in terms of our tiers. There's just more levels because we have more time once we're 19 to just keep dedicating to this craft, right? We're not going to be bumped into like, oh, we were a youth actor and now we're an adult actor. Like, we're pretty much an adult actor at that point, even if we're playing teenagers, until we're like 30. So we have our IOC, which is again total beginner. Then we have Core Acting 1, which is like an extension of IOC. You liked IOC. Now you have the opportunity to take a 12-week training session. So it's just more time on deck, more chance to practice those foundational theory, the component of acting, breaking down a script, eye lines, knowing your mark, connecting to breath. And then we move to our intermediate levels, which is our CA2 and our CA3. CA2, we start to introduce more aspects of theory. We're working on longer scenes. We're working with scene units. We're breaking down scripts. So there's more theory, right? It's like you were learning math and now there's algebra, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's more math. Okay. And of course, we're asking you to be accessing more of your emotional range. We're looking at higher stakes material. We're looking at longer scenes. Our core 3 is a very demanding class. That is where we are looking at, can you meet the expectations of a series regular, of the star of a movie, of a supporting lead, right? So we are looking at 7-page scenes. We're starting to bring in different genre like war, action, procedurals. We're really kind of beginning to open up to the entirety of what you might be asked to do as a working actor. And we're really testing your stamina and your storytelling responsibility. Do I want to watch you for 12 episodes? Can you run a marathon, right? So it's really a big jump from our CA2 to CA3. And actors can spend a long time training at these levels, and that's so normal. I think it's very helpful to think of this. I always think of it like sports training, right? Like you're training at a level of competition. I don't think of it as like I'm taking a class. By the end, I get like a certificate, and like that's not acting. That's not how acting works. That's not how like yoga works or dance or any athletic. You go and you practice, and once you're at a certain level, you might change leagues. Now you're playing competitive. Now you're playing rep. Now you're in the minors. So then we have Core 4 and Core 5, and those are advanced and our master level classes. And Core 4 is like, I'm not there to be your instructor anymore. I'm there to be your director. It's kind of the same for Core 5. I'm expecting very strong self-directed passes. I'm expecting industry level work that you're bringing in, and then we're refining it. And at Core and Core 5, they are separate. Core 5, we're reading whole screenplays. We're tackling more artistic interpretations. We're working with 2 camera setups. So we're really emulating being a working actor on set and a little bit away from the focus on auditioning.
Right.
But those classes are also taught like by myself and the most advanced instructors at the studio. So they're also subject to like who's in the room and what we feel would benefit those actors. But those are for actors who are working, who are have been on series, who have carried series. So that's sort of the shape. So it's not about whipping your way up through the levels. You can think of it like martial arts, right? Like when I took judo, I was like in yellow for a while, right? Because I needed to develop the strength and I needed to develop the knowledge of the forms,
Yeah.
and that was the right level of training for me to be at for a while before advancing, right? So that's the way I like to think of it, is you're gaining strength, you're developing those muscles.
It's a
It's a
gym.
gym.
It's a gym for actors. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got one of our great instructors and resident coaches here, Steven.
I,
Hi, Steve. um, Susanna, I think I'm going to head on into this question now that we're talking about classes. So we've got a question from Josie, and she is wondering if we cap off classes with a maximum number of students to make it more intimate and give each student more time and experience. Great question.
that's a great question. And we do. Yes, we do. So it depends on the level of training, because if the scenes are very long. So in our intro level classes, we cap at 12 students. And the instructor is making sure that week to week, some weeks maybe one scene gets worked on, slightly extra. The instructor is going to make sure that, the next week the other actors are getting that time, but we do cap. So for our intro level classes, the cap is 12. Those classes are typically 3 hours. And for the advanced level classes, which are 4 hours, we cap at 10 students.
Yes. Awesome. And then just to kind of wrap it all up here, that's a lot of information that we've thrown at everyone. But are there any other ways other than the Welcome to AAS workshop that we've been talking about for students to kind of check out AAS before committing to a full course?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important that the studio be accessible, and signing up for any committed training package is an investment, both of your time and finances. So we really want to make sure that you feel confident when you're making that investment on yourself. So definitely we have the workshop coming up January 9th, which is free. Also, you can check out all of the classes on our website, all of the different training levels. And if there's one that interests you, or based on what I've said today, or reading the blurbs, you can always contact us, contact the office. You'll speak to James. He's an amazing human being.
The best.
Good about yourself, your history, your experience, and a couple things. He'll either suggest, hey, I think you should come audit our IOC class, or why don't you come audit a CA1 class or CA2 or whatever. So he can point you direction of a free audit. So you won't be participating in the class, but you can come and just watch one of our classes based on the level of training we think might be right for you. The other thing that you can do is, let's say you want to be considered for CA2 or one of our higher level trainings. You can, online, there's a form, you just fill out a little bit of your context, your bio, your headshot, resume, and then you send footage. So if you have 2 minutes of a tape, an audition that you're really proud of, or you learn a 2-minute scene, you set up your cell phone at home, get some lights, record yourself, sending that to the studio. I will be the one to look at it. And based on the information you've sent, we'll reach out and we'll say, hey, we think Core 3 would be great for you. Do you want to come watch a class? So that you can see how that sits with you. Like, yeah, I feel like that would be good. And then you can go experience the class exactly as it's taught, right? And make your decision there. Another way, which isn't free, this way does cost money, would be to book a one-on-one coaching, either with myself or one of our resident coaches, to come in and see if you like kind of the approach, even in that 1 hour coaching, right? We will send you a scene, or you can bring in a scene that you really love. And, for a smaller fee, like it does cost money, but it would give you a sense of just like what you could expect working with one of our coaches. Yeah.
Great. Yes. So thanks so much, Susanna. This was really informative. I hope everybody got a lot of information and a little bit more clarity as to how the studio works and the structure and the training that we have to offer. And again, just to remind everyone, the Welcome to AAS workshop is January 9th, 2025. Crazy that it's 2025 already. So there's a handful of spots left in that workshop. So it's going fast. It's on our workshop page on the website, open to enroll whenever. As well, our winter term is open for registration as well. And as Susanna said, you can go on, see all of the courses that we have to offer, as well as read the description of what each course is. And if you're a little bit confused about the level to take, definitely send in some of your info to James, and then Susanna will review your work, review your package, and we'll get back to you with a course recommendation. And yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things coming up in 2025. I'm really excited for this year. I think it's going to be a great one. And yeah, thanks so much, Susanna, for joining me today.
Yeah,
and I'm looking.
One more thing. Because we do have workshops, we'll have some more, welcome to AAS workshops throughout 2025. So if January is full, we will take a waiting list. Absolutely. So hop on a waiting list or sign up so you can receive our upcoming workshops, because this year we ran some amazing workshops. It's another way to check out the training at the studio without investing in a full class. Yeah. We did 2 sellout video game workshops with John McLaren this year. We just did an amazing agent panel where we had 4 top agents in Toronto come and speak to us. We have done like Hallmark workshops, we have done and we have a bunch coming up for next year. So that's also a nice way, if you want to kind of dip your toe in and check out the studio, is to keep on top of where our workshops are at, because we have a bunch of exciting stuff coming out in 2025, probably a workshop with comedy, another agent panel, tons of great stuff.
Absolutely, yes. And if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to reach out to the office. James will be more than happy to help. And again, check out the Welcome to AAS workshop and the courses that we have coming up in 2025, and keep an eye out for lots more exciting things coming up. So we're excited to welcome everybody to the studio next year, and we look forward to training and definitely booking a lot next year for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're just excited to get to know you and your work. So hit us up.
Hit us up, yes. Thank you so much, Susanna. And it was really great chatting with you today, as always. And yeah, we will chat soon.
Okay.
All right.
Ciao, everybody.
Bye, everyone.